We got keys in the room, keys in the room. Ooh. We got keys in the room, keys in the room. I'm pleased for sure. We got keys in the room. I'm not sneezing on brooms. I got keys in the room. You know Mel is laughing at me, but I'm feeling so happy. I feel like I'm Laffy Taffy emotionally when I'm on the beat. You know I'm so alive because the cipher is not complete without introducing our guest Kiki. What's up, Kiki Mikkelsen? You're hitting the beat.
I'm doing really good today. I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy to play. Oh, sneezing on a broom. I heard that and I said, oh my God, achoo!
Ooh, Kiki, sweet like cheese, sweet like the Gouda. I heard that she's a postpartum doula. I can't wait to talk about it in the interview portion. But until then, we're gonna keep rapping and snorting something.
Kiki, she's with North Coast, and we're improvising. We got Adrien on keys and Airloom. She doing a thing, you know everything is sweet. And I'm Ralf, and there's Mel, and there's Doug, and there's Adrien, and Airloom, and Kiki, and a banana on the Kiki boards. We're gonna floor it.
Ooh, we got keys in the room. Oh, we got keys in the room.
Oh,
we got keys in the room. Feeling happy, not doomed. We got keys in the room.
That's a major key.
That's a F major. Fight me on it.
Yeah. Welcome to the North Coast Podcast.
Oh, thank you.
I am Douglas. We are accompanied by our magical merry band. We've got
Mel Rubin.
We've got Adrien Pellerin on the keys.
We got keys in the room.
Airloom Beats.
Heyo.
Ralph.
And our wonderful, wonderful guest today. You can catch her performing at Shit's Probe at Asylum NYC, but she's multifaceted. So welcome to the studio, Kiki Mikkelsen.
Yes, Kiki.
Thank you so much.
First question,
Yeah.
what is your reaction, 4 years ago to that Drake song, And My Feelings? Kiki, do you love me? What was your reaction to that?
It was fun. It was definitely fun to be in pop culture. But I will say I was dating at the time, like on dating apps, and that was so many people's intro. And then I ran the New York City Marathon in 2018, and I had my name, on my chest, like really big. And miles 1 through 20, like everyone was shouting that. And like miles 1 through 20, I was like, yes, I love you. Yes, I love the marathon. And then miles 20 through 26.2, I was like, stop. I was like, no, I don't love anything.
No, I don't love you no more.
I have not run a marathon, but I just ran my first half marathon pretty recently.
Saw
Thank
that.
you.
Congrats.
Thank you. But I did, the name thing reminded me, I put Mel in like really big, bright pink letters with the assumption that people would see my name and like help cheer me on. And I remember like, I was very performative to like strangers that were watching because I was just like running and like trying to show them my chest, being like, say it, say it. And they were all so focused on either finding their people or looking at the virtual map to find where their people were that I was kind of like bummed that nobody was super present and just like helping cheer on everybody. My favorite day in New York is the New York City Marathon. I cheer every name I see. I'm like, yes, Joe, yes, Claire, yes, Kiki, go. Like I am every name. So I was like, okay. People,
I think it's more of a marathon
You
thing.
might be right. You might be
it's
right.
more of a marathon thing. I don't know why, but I think I put my name on my shirt once for a half, and it was the same. I was like, nobody
really put their name on their shirts either. I was like, this is not a big deal for anyone else. Oops.
See, that's the type of thing I would do on a Sunday, is I would just walk around New York and be like, my name is Doug.
My name is Doug. It's Sunday in the park with Doug.
Ooh, yeah. Oh.
It's Sunday in the park
with Doug. Going down the park and I am wearing a shirt. I'm saying my name is Doug. Nobody wants to talk or flirt. But do not you want to say my name right now? Oh, right, it's a normal day. But when people are running so many feet up for or a 5K.
It's Sunday in the park with Doug. It's Sunday in the park with Doug.
His name is on his shirt.
In the park with Doug.
It's Sunday in the park
with Doug.
I'm in the park. I'm I'm looking mean, I got a mean mug on my face. I'm stomping around, I'm on everybody's case. Man, I hate this day, I think it's really dumb. Until I see a bright smile and I see on the shirt, Doug! Whoa!
It's Sunday in the park with Doug. It's Sunday in the park with Doug.
Name is on his shirt.
It's kinda weird right now. Do you want a hug? No, I understand. It's Sunday in the park. Sunday in the park with Doug. Who's that over there?
Who's that?
It's a grizzled marathon runner.
What does that say on her shirt?
It says, "Do not speak to me unless it is." Oh no, other shirt.
Other shirt. Other shirt.
Yes.
Oh, what does it say on her naked
Don't sing
body?
drink to me. Please don't sing drink to me.
I've been running the marathon since November of 2018.
Oh my gosh.
You can't ever stop.
It's part man, part chimney.
I can't stop. Drake won't let me stop.
Don't ever stop.
Drake won't let me stop.
It's Sunday in the park with Doug. Thank you. He's gone.
Oh boy.
Well, shit.
Well, shit.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna run a marathon. I've thought about it. I like the idea of like the swimming, biking, running one, which I know is even harder.
Yeah, triathlon.
Yes.
Triathlon. That sounds fun to me for weird reasons, but like I feel like the act of like running on concrete for that long sounds so incredibly painful to me. I can't even. Yeah.
You're right.
Okay. Great.
No, you're right.
Okay.
But it's I think it's a thing that it's like if it calls to you, it's worth doing. But if you're like, I'd take it or leave it, don't bother.
Okay. Don't. Okay.
It's a part-time job. Like
Getting
for
ready.
several months leading up to it, and then it is so hard.
Yeah.
I think there's no other way to put it. This is a real bummer thought, but I'm going to share it because it seems relevant.
Yes.
There was a pioneering of just a few years ago, hip hop podcaster named Combat Jack. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but he was in the industry, he worked for Rockefeller Records as a lawyer, and he interviewed J. Cole, Redman. Like he knew everybody. And I think, he did the podcast for a long time, and I think he was either preparing to run a marathon or ran a marathon. And then like these weren't related, but then within like a year later he died of cancer.
Whoa.
Damn.
He was like very beloved, like one of the first like real hip hop podcasters.
Is this the guy that like knows like really, really deep cut like information? Like he's the guy who like dig up like your very first show and he'd be like, "Oh, is this your
No, I don't think so. He just was like a guy he was like a lawyer for Jay-Z and Damon Dash, and just like had a really cool podcast that I really liked, and he passed. But I know shortly before he was either training for or actually did run a marathon. So really interesting. I don't know why it just made me think of that because we're doing a hip hop.
Well, like speaking of preparing for running marathons, Kiki, what are you working on? What are you preparing for right now?
I'm preparing to learn how to drink water for the class. I'm getting really close.
We'll make a GIF of that later.
I'm getting ready to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Hey-yo.
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited with Baby Wants Candy and Shamilton.
So cool.
So that'll be fun. That's like the next big thing.
Some North Coasters are going to be.
RJ will be with
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
So
think Raquel.
cool.
Raquel's in
And
it. Yeah.
Raquel.
Raquel,
Yeah.
yes.
That's gonna be
And
awesome.
Those are the North Coast folk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fun. I'm super excited about that. What else am I preparing for? I feel like I should know.
Oh, I mean, it's not a leading question. What else are you? I don't know. What's going on with you in general?
I'm performing a lot. I joined a choir this year.
Ooh.
I love adult choir. Like
It-
something about that is amazing.
Yes, has been such a joy. Like last fall, I was like starting to feel really depressed, and I was like, what are things that have made me happy in the past? And I was like, I used to love singing in choir. I went to performing arts high school and I sang in choirs in college, and I loved it. Like it's a lot of what I love about musical improv. It's like we're all working together in the moment to like create something beautiful. And so I like emailed a bunch of choirs, and a lot of them had just done their auditions. Because I also didn't want to join a bad choir. I wanted to join a choir that you had to audition to get into, which is maybe a little elitist of me. But I was like, I don't want to
Even
join.
when you're doing it for fun, you're so judgmental.
I'm the same.
I'm curious though,
feel the
because
same.
there's so many different kinds of choirs. Was there like a specific thing? I know there's like musical theater ones, there's classical, there's like a cappella groups. What were you looking for?
I was just looking for anything, and the one that I ended up joining, because it was the only one that like was available to audition for. It's called a chord treble choir, and so it's a treble choir, which is what we now call women's choirs, because not everybody with a treble voice is a woman. But
that's cool.
it's a treble choir, and it's not a cappella, like in the sense of like singing a cappella, but all the music is a cappella, none of it's accompanied. So it was such a cool experience, and so I was like, I just finished that concert in June. And I got an email this week that I was a probationary member for my first season, and now I am an official member.
Oh,
she's
my
made it!
Oh, you made it.
We're
You
off
made it onto
probation.
the choir.
Yeah.
We're singing hard now.
Oh, she made it onto the choir.
You ain't in trouble with the troubles. You made a deal with the devil. You know I'm about to aspire because Kiki Mikkelsen made it onto the damn choir.
Ooh.
She's singing so damn high. A cappella to the goddamn sky. You know the notes she don't need to pry because she made it on the.
She made it onto the choir.
Onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
Onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
Onto the choir. Onto the choir. Onto the choir.
She made it
onto the
probation.
choir. Oh, I'm not on probation anymore.
She was on probation.
Now I'm off probation. I'm back in the world. I was trying to make it connect to the idea of probation with the law. It is not quite the same. But let me tell you, in this choir, I sing alto too.
So even though it's a treble, you're singing alto when you're getting up on the lower level.
Sing all the bass notes, sing all the bass notes, sing all the bass notes in the choir.
Wow, you were so resonant when you sang into the lower. No, you were not hesitant.
No, I sang the low G's and I said, you better hear me, please.
She made it onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
Onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
Onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
She was on probation.
What are the songs that you do? What are the charts that they hand over to you? Is it a libretto from Cats or is it better than that? Are you like a cappella when they sing in the pop hits?
We sang the song called The First Brew. No, it's a Finnish origin story of the world. So there's this lady, she gets pregnant by the ocean. Then she lays 6 eggs. One of them's an iron egg. The iron egg goes on to her knee, and it bursts on her knee, and it's burning and melting. And that is the world!
She made it onto the choir. Onto the choir. She made it onto the choir.
She made it on
Finish
the
song.
She made it onto the choir.
Onto the choir.
She's on probation.
It's an acapella choir, but don't call it acapella. Don't call it acapella. It's an acapella choir, but don't call it acapella. Don't call it acapella. No music, no music, no music, no music, no music, no music, no music.
She made it onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir. She made it onto the choir. She made it onto the choir. Onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir.
She made it onto the choir. She made it onto the choir. She made it onto the choir. She made it on the choir. Oh, wow. Is that what it felt like when you made it?
Yes, it
Wow.
is. It is. It really brought me so much joy, though.
Yeah.
It really did. It was like, it was great.
So now you have another season coming up then, right?
Yes. So now
You're in.
I'm in as long as I want to be in, I guess. So
Yeah.
there'll be like holiday concerts and stuff.
Amazing.
We're singing something with something. I don't know.
And something with something.
Yeah,
I like that.
Look at
That's
Accord,
so vague and-
accordchoir.com, I think.
Is this in
I do
Accord,
the-
New York?
No, it's
Oh.
Accord, like
Accord Choir?
ACCORD.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, I need to get on the mailing list. I want to know
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
You-
yes, go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious. You said you went to performing arts high school. Where are you from? How does that happen? How do you end up there? Did you go to performing arts then college? What is the?
I did. So I'm from the Lehigh Valley, Allentown area of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey yo.
It's like down I-78, like 90 minutes or whatever. And
Oh, so close to New York. Okay.
yeah, it's sort of between New York and Philly. I think it's a little closer to Philly, but sort of like right in between.
Oh, okay.
And the school that I went to actually opened my freshman year. Of high school. I was going to go, last minute decided not to, went to the Catholic high school that all my friends were going to instead. And then like partway through my 10th grade year, I was like, this fucking sucks. And there's like a whole thing with the school sent kids to the Bush rally, but not the Kerry rally. And my mom wrote a letter, and the principal of the school, who was a priest, was like insinuated that she like kills babies, was like, I'm praying for you. And she was like, okay, fuck this school. So I went to the performing arts high school, but it was a brand new school. My class was the first like full graduating class. So it was not a school. It was not a school at all. Like we didn't learn anything. It was a complete island of misfit toys. We didn't do fucking shit.
Oh, man, no dress code?
No dress code. At any point, you could just be like, I have a rehearsal, and like
I just
leave a class. Like they would just be like, okay, that makes sense. And every room in the school, there was all like lots of colors, and every room in the school had one wall that was this like insane like chartreusey lime green. It was like the one color that was consistent. Every room had one wall that was this bizarre color. And it was just crazy. And then I went to I studied vocal performance opera in college.
Wow.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like I made a choice when I went to that school. I was like, I'm not academic at all anymore. I'm fully committed.
You chose a lane to being a creative.
Yes, I didn't know it was going to end up here exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could have
On a
predicted
hip hop
that.
improv podcast?
No, actually, I did have a vision. No,
Okay.
I wish.
So fun. I went to a very loosey-goosey magnet arts program too, and it was a lot like that. You could just like be like, I want a rehearsal. Yeah, that's
It sounds
so
like
cool.
the school equivalent of like working at a startup, where you're just like, I have a lunch thing. I'll be back in a few hours, and everyone's like, cool.
1,000%. Not a single
Yeah.
question. Just the entire day.
Ugh.
It was absurd.
I
Completely
love
absurd.
that. Did you ever encounter the Finnish song before you joined the chord choir?
I have not that particular song, but between like singing in a bunch of choirs and studying vocal music in high school and then in college, I have sung in many languages.
Wow.
That's so cool. Like, yeah.
What are some unique languages you've...
Well, you got your basic, French, German, Italian, Spanish. I've sung in Hebrew, Chichester Psalms. I sang in Norwegian and Sami in this concert that we did, which I just learned about Sami, actually. It's like
Singing different languages. Singing different languages. Singing different languages. This is the part where Kiki sings in a bunch of languages.
Polyglot life.
Polyglot life.
It's a polyglot life. Polyglot life. Polyglot life. Polyglot life. Polyglot life. It's a polyglot life.
German.
Oh, ich habe Hunger. That means that I am hungry.
Italian.
Nice. Oh, I know Italian. Oh, yes, spaghetti.
French.
Je t'aime. Je m'appelle Kiki. Je m'appelle Kiki.
Hebrew. Both at the same time.
I don't want to be offensive, so I'm not going to remember any Hebrew.
Singing different languages.
Different languages.
Speaking different languages. Speaking different languages. Oh, there you go.
languages.
Polyglot life.
Polyglot life.
Polyglot life. Polyglot life. Polyglot life.
Polyglot life.
Yeah, I can't speak in any of the languages that were listed above, but I can speak in one different language. Love. I speak from my heart, and my heart speaks the truth. And you know I feel the love for you and you and you and you. Woo.
Mel fell in love 4 months ago.
It was
If you
6.
see her Instagram 6 months, you will definitely know it's so cute. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Her partners is brunette like her. They've got a sheen.
Speaking different languages.
I didn't have to do the song. Speaking different languages, but I had to say it because it's true. Speaking different languages. No Hebrew. Speaking different languages.
Gibberish. Super Simon.
Technical difficulty.
Impressive.
Wow.
Thank you for the quick solve on that.
The computer was impressed with her
Yeah.
polyglot life.
Loved it.
Yeah. The reason I ask about the Finnish song is I think it's a good segue to another big part of your life. So she's impregnated by the
Yes.
sea. And so you are a postpartum doula. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
That is right. Yes.
Okay.
I'm a postpartum doula. As of right now, I am not a birth doula, although it is something that I've thought about, I think about. So this may not be true at some point. But a postpartum doula is a doula, a person that helps people after birth. And as opposed to like an infant care specialist or like a newborn care or whatever, a postpartum doula like helps the whole family unit. So the birthing person and the partner or partners or other family that are there, and the baby, and sort of helping everybody. And also like a lot of times older siblings too.
Okay.
Sort of helping like the new family establish themselves and establish like the life that they're going to have for a little bit.
Wow. How do you like even get into that? Is there like a training that you have to go through a school or?
There's so there's a little bit of like you don't have to. Like doula just means helper, basically. So like you can be a birth doula, you can be a postpartum doula, you can be a death doula without training, because it's not a medical. I can't prescribe anything. I can't even like legally like weigh a baby, like, you know, like do a weighted feed or something, because it's too medical. And I say that because there's a lot of like gatekeeping about like certification, and you have to pay $800 for this, that, and the other thing. And it's like people have been helping people after birth for literally, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
But that said, I did training through Manhattan Birth, which is obviously based in New York City. And I did a year-long mentorship program, because the other thing is that you can do like a doula training, like a weekend doula training, and then they kind of spit you out and you're like, okay, now what? And you also have to learn how to like start a business, and like make connections and all that stuff. So I did this like year-long mentorship program through Manhattan Birth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
How do you-
beautiful.
How do you end up going down that road? Because I don't know that I meet a lot of I really always want to use the word milieu, even though it sounds too fancy. But like, you know, in our world that we all occupy, I don't meet a lot of doulas. Like, how do you end up going down that road? What's the interest? And yeah, I'm so fascinated by that.
I love the word milieu, so
Yeah.
thank you for using it.
Yeah.
I have been doing childcare forever. And it's been like, I've gone back and forth between that and other shit, but I have kept coming back to childcare as like my day job.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so like, you know, I hate the fucking capitalist system, but if I'm being honest, I have sort of like maxed out how much you can get paid to do childcare
Yeah.
for the most part. And I was like, how can I kind of stay in this world but make more money? And if postpartum doula is one way.
Wow.
My postpartum doula rate, you know, for rich people, like
Yeah.
is a
That's-
lot higher than my babysitting rate.
That makes that's
Those things
You got to
really-
charge what you're worth, Kiki.
I do. And you know what? I'm worth a fuck ton.
Yes, you are.
Oh.
You gotta charge with your work, Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
You gotta charge.
Baby looks at me I say, oh my God, Kiki, I wanna play. I don't know if it's my big boobs or my big blue eyes, but a baby looks at me and they don't wanna cry. I know how to do the 5 S's. That's shush and sway and swaddle and cider, stomach and suck. They like to do a little sucking and it helps them go to sleep. It helps them not be fucking up.
This is some top tier child care. This is some top tier child care. Put the baby right over there. This is some top tier child care. You gotta put that baby in your arms and let the mother and family experience your charms. Cuddle up in my bosom right over here. And then, what is that? Ooh, that baby had a poopy on its rear.
Ooh, I poopied.
Ooh.
Oopsies.
Oh.
Somebody clean me.
Ooh.
Has
That's-
anybody seen my brother?
I'm sorry, baby, that's out of my purview. I don't clean butts. Even though I charge $100 an hour, I don't clean butts. Am I wrong about that? I'm probably wrong. You clean butts.
I clean butts, I clean vaginas, I clean recently circumcised penises.
Recently circumcised, that means they're so bloody. That's rich blood from a baby. You can carry it.
Are there also 5 S's associated with that? I would love to know what they are, so I do not forget them.
Like slice. Saute.
Yes. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is some top tier child care.
Sauteing your
This is
baby's
some top
foreskin.
tier child care.
You didn't hear it from me.
She's not
Top tier child care.
You gotta charge what you're worth, Kiki.
Charge what you're worth.
You gotta charge what you're worth, Kiki.
Work inside the system.
You gotta charge what you're worth, Kiki. You gotta charge what you're worth.
Time is money,
Child
Kiki.
care.
Charge what you're worth,
I'm gonna charge you
Kiki.
more. Telling you
gotta
that
charge
upfront
what
so
you're
you don't
worth,
show me the
Kiki.
door. And if you are poor, I'm gonna help you anyway.
Top tier child
Gotta
care.
charge
We
what
are
you're
the babies
worth,
of the
Kiki.
future. Child
gotta
care.
charge
And
what
thank you
you're worth,
closing up our
Kiki.
sutures. Child
gotta
care. I
charge
love
what
you.
you're
Put
worth,
me on the
Kiki.
furniture. Child care. We love you, Kiki. Beautiful.
Stunning.
Getting very Riviera-y in their sounds today. Very
Yeah.
Bacharach-y right now. She had a
Hell
white
yeah.
linen suit.
Yeah, it sounds like we're on Lake Como together, enjoying a
Listen
great.
to Perry Como.
Okay, wait. I have a follow-up question about tiers of childcare. I had a friend tell me that she was a governess. Do you know what that is?
I mean, I've heard the term before, like in.
And the Sound of Music.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's like
Jane
a-
Eyre.
Oh, it's in there too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think a governess is just like basically like a live-in tutor. It's like you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you're
So you
you're
teach as
responsible
well.
for the child's education and like well-being and care and like their whereabouts and things like that. So
Okay.
yeah,
I think you can legally sign things on behalf of the child if you're a governess.
Whoa.
Too.
But can you
Wild.
legally weigh the baby?
No.
No, you're
You
still
have to
not
have a
allowed.
medical degree to weigh
So
a
who
baby.
She
the fuck
dare.
can weigh the baby?
An international board certified lactation consultant could weigh a baby.
Oh, an
or like a
IC.
pediatrician. IBCLC.
Oh.
IBCLC.
An IBCLC.
You down with IBCLC?
Yeah, you know me.
Wow.
Shit.
I really think I think we all are in proximity of like people who work for really wealthy families for doing things that like our families probably just did. But like it's interesting and it's unique and it's weird, but like I always have this theory about in my mind of like if you're a really wealthy family, you're losing density and you're just like floating off of the earth.
Yeah.
And so you have like people that help you come back to the earth. It's kind of why like the same with like a wealthy family that like is a patron for an artist. Like
Yeah.
it's like lead us back to our soul because we're just floating off of the ground.
People pay good money for what a village used to do.
Yes.
What community used to do.
Because
That's so true. Yeah.
and they get isolated from, I don't want to say their humanity, but that they have a lot to do. They have a lot of money. They're sort of living far from, when I say the earth, it's like, things like carrying water to your village. Like they're living so far from it. It's like those people help them come back to it. And I sort of, it's just a weird image I have in my mind, but it's all like an ecosystem that's all like serving it. I don't know. I used to, when I was younger, I felt like, oh, this is weird. But then I felt like, no, these people have their part that they play in the ecosystem of humanity, you know?
My wife is also works in childcare, and the family that she works for right now are extremely wealthy. Like both parents come from wealthy. So it's just like goes back and back and back. And they're white. So she's half Cuban, queer, and it's these 3 white, assigned male at birth. The youngest one is maybe like a little bit genderqueer, but like these 3, assigned male at birth kids. And she's like, my job, and they pay her like even when she doesn't work, when she goes on vacation, whatever. Like, she's like, my job is to teach these little white boys how to not be fucking assholes, to like teach them how to be normal. And she literally, it's a big part of her job is like
public service right there.
Yes, it is. And teach the like they'll say like fucked up shit about like complaining about, they go to St. Anne's, which is like that super
Private
expensive
school.
Liberal private school, and they'll be like, so and so has 4 houses and we only have 2 houses. And she's like, you can't say that when you're literally standing next to a person who has no houses. Like, you can't. So, yeah, I feel like she's hired to, like, help them not float too high off, like, the actual world with other people.
And I even mean that, I think exactly what you're saying. And I also mean, like, you get separated a little bit from your humanity and any sort of spirituality when you just have so much money that you can lose touch with that, And so you have... what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. I just see so many examples of that in the world where it's like there's like sort of this ascetic culture, and so that they gravitate to. It's sort of like how not that they're all rich, but how like the English really gravitated to like blues music in the 60s. It's like, oh, this is sort of helping us back to something we might have lost track of in our own culture. I really see those kind of circles and cycles happening all the time. I just find that fascinating. I used to think like, oh, these, and I still do think that like these rich people, but I also feel like there's an interesting cycle happening here. There's an interesting circle of things working together that is, it's at least interesting. Whether it's good or not, I don't know, but it's at least interesting.
And it's reached a fever peak, and I think we're all hyper aware of it during COVID, our relationship with money, whether value is purely transactional or whether it's just a tool to buy back your time, or I've never thought about money more than in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Word.
Kiki. So Kiki, tell us about your last 2 years. Oh yeah, were you about to say something?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought I missed a nonverbal
Sometimes I just like to
cue.
hold my mic just to feel like
nice
I have
mics.
one.
In the last 2 years, like during this chaos of the coronavirus
What are you
pandemic.
talking about?
Nothing at all. Actually, it's just been normal. How do you think you've changed the most? In what regard?
Wow, that is such a fascinating question. I think that I have much more appreciation for like this, for artistic community and community in general. Just like, I think it's like a combination of having that taken away, like having to be isolated for a period of time, and then also like, we're talking about like being aware of like the income, like the wealth gap and all of this stuff. I'm like so much more interested in like being a part of my community and like helping my neighbors and having my like value that I put into the world, be like, I'm really good at helping people with their kids and making up musicals for some reason. And so like, these are the two things I want to do. And these are the things that I feel like I've gained such an appreciation. I was like really jaded, especially to like musical improv. I was on like, you know, I had like 3 or 4 shows a week and I just was like, bing, bang, boom. There's so much more, it's all so much more precious now.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I can't, because I didn't perform for like 15 months or something like that. Mm. It was heartbreaking. Yeah. Like it was like I really realized how important it was to me.
Kiki, you said precious, and I must take it back for 1 second. This is kind of unrelated, but during COVID, we both were a part of the same experience, which was being on the $100,000 pyramid. And the top of my winner circle, spoiler alert, was the hardest one I've ever seen, which was things that are precious. And every time I hear that word, I'm like,
gold medals.
It's so hard. Yeah, but it's tough. I mean,
what else?
It's a tough one. What would Kiki have said?
Okay.
All right, this is, redeem me.
Top of the pyramid.
I couldn't do it.
We're getting back to the top of the pyramid.
Yep.
We're going back to the top of the pyramid.
Hey, we're going back to the top of the pyramid.
Michael Strahan, everybody.
Okay. A very cute baby. Mm-hmm. Teeny tiny baby. Gold, silver, bronze, brass, copper, gems, emeralds and diamonds.
Yes.
Ooh, the ring.
Yes.
Gollum's ring. Gollum's ring is.
Yeah.
We're getting back to the top of the pyramid.
Hey, we're getting back to the top of the pyramid. We're going back to the top of the pyramid. We're going back to the top of the pyramid.
You missed one thing that is precious. Me.
And me.
Oh, wait.
You missed one thing that is precious. Adrien. Arabelle. You missed one last thing that is precious. Mel Rubin.
Me. I should have said me.
You should have said you.
What was your top of the pyramid when you were on pyramid, when you were on 10K? What did they say that day?
I got to the top of both pyramids. Yeah. And I think I can't remember exactly what was at the top, but the thing that kept me from $150,000.
It was heartbreaking.
People with glasses was the category, and I said nearsighted people.
You can't say things that are part of the category or else you'll get buzzed. She said something that was too close to the part of the category, so she got buzzed.
Man, that brought me back to the final callback to pyramids, and it made me so damn frustrated during that shit. There was so many fucking rules, and I just wanted to have fun like I was in middle school with Kiki Mikkelsen.
To the top of the pyramid.
We're getting back to the top of the pyramid. We're going back to the top of the pyramid.
Fuck nearsighted people.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Thank you for listening to the North Coast Podcast. Shout out to our guest, Kiki Mikkelsen.
Thank you.
What's your social handle?
I'm at Kiki Mikkelsen for my personal /improv, and at Kiki the Doula, but really just kikithedoula.com if you want to hit me up for postpartum doula services, especially if you're in Brooklyn.
I love it. So please follow Kiki, and also you can check us out at North Coast NYC, and also follow us on Patreon if you want to support the podcast and get exclusive content.
Shout out Adrien, shout out Airloom.
Yes.
Shout out to Adrien Pellerin on the keys, and shout out to Airloom on the beat. Best in the business. See ya.
Yeah. Yeah.